Hey everybody, my name is Brenna, and I'm a recent grad from Queen's University located in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. There I studied a 4-year degree program working towards my Honours Bachelor of Arts with a major in Sociology, and alongside my degree I also completed a certificate in Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and Creativity. One of the main reasons I selected sociology as my major and as a program I wanted to follow is due to the fact that it gave you a lot of flexibility within the faculty. So within the faculty in your major, you're able to stream one of 3 specialties alongside sociology. So personally, I majored in sociology, but I streamed consumer studies. So combining sociology with consumer studies for me allowed me to receive the widest possible education I could studying in my degree while allowing me to focus on 2 of my interests at once. Something that attracted me towards sociology at Queen's, but more generally arts at Queen's in the first place, was within your first year, you're not locked into a program. You don't have to choose a specific major until you're in your second year, which allows you to kind of play around with the courses you're taking and find what you actually are interested in and what type of courses and learning styles and classes you love, whether it be lectures or labs, seminars, whatever it may be. And then specifically with sociology, I was really interested in the program due to the fact that class sizes compared to other schools are a lot smaller from the get-go, from first year. But moving from your first year to your 4th year, class sizes decrease. So by my 4th year, I was in classes with about 13 to 20 students, and working backwards from that, 3rd year was about 100, 2nd year was about 150, 200, and 1st year, I'd say max capacity in a lecture theater was 300 students, which is a lot different from a lot of other schools I know. So it's nice because your professors start to recognize you and you're actually drawn towards going to class because it is such a small class size that you get to meet people and you are really engaged with the things that you're learning, which obviously help you in the long run in your degree. And then looking at Queen's generally, why I chose that school, I think one of the main reasons was because of the beautiful campus. I can never and I will never get over how pretty walking through campus is throughout any season. The pier on campus and the residences and the buildings, everything is just really, really nice. And that kind of goes along with the student living situation and what Queen's students call the student ghetto, which is a hub of houses just kind of all packed into one, which I found something that A, provided me with a sense of safety as a female student, and B, also provided me with a sense of community entering a new world that I had never experienced living in student housing. Another reason I was drawn to Queen's is because it's high standards with academics. It has a very high score across Canadian schools, with being compared to academics and research and science and all the tools that we have as students at Queen's, which is ranked very highly. It's a well-recognized school globally, which is important for me because I want to pursue my master's. So I wanted to go to a known and accredited school that would help me pursue what I wanted to follow. On top of this, the alumni network at Queen's is pretty vast and pretty important, which is really cool because you can always reach out to alumni you find on LinkedIn and create a network to build just a group of like-minded people or people that enjoy the same things as you do from Queen's, or to help you in the professional sense when looking for careers and looking for opportunities in the market. And then another important reason that I chose Queen's, I think, was due largely to the large school spirit and the tradition and the history behind everything, all the events, all the ceremonies. Everything that takes place at the school has a rich history, and school spirit is something that I always kind of sought out when looking for universities, and Queen's was able to really provide that for me. Within my experience in the program, I noticed that there was a mixed model of teaching methods. So within first year, it was mainly lectures and tutorials. Lectures would be about 1 or 2 times a week, and tutorials would be once a week. And this followed through till about 2nd or 3rd year, with the exception of 2nd year taking stats and data management. You had a lab where you would do some programming and some research on the computer. And then in 4th year, you would follow the lecture-like teaching method, but more so in a smaller sense in a seminar. So you would select a list of seminars that were in your top 5, and then the teaching team would then allocate you to a class where you would be put into a group and present the material with your group each week throughout the semester. The workload is pretty intense, but it definitely is manageable. You're graded mainly on assignments, so more so writing of papers than taking tests or taking exams. The difference between high school and university exams or papers is the changing of the formatting of your papers. So within your program, within sociology, you would follow a specific formatting or citation method. That's something that you learn throughout your 4 years there. I recommend that you join any writing workshops in first year that they hold in the library. It really helped me just refine what professors are looking for. And also, don't be afraid to go see your professor in office hours or your TA, email them, just to help you get your feet on the ground when you first get started. And then same with exams. Exams are a lot more intense and fast-paced. You write them in a massive room full of about 500 students. Prior to entering the program and just university more generally, I would recommend working on some studying techniques, understand what works for you and what helps you maintain information, as well as when you need to write a paper, you should start practicing getting into a creative mindset and starting to write drafts and mock-ups, as well as what you know works for you when you need to get work done. So do you like to work from home, or do you like to work in a library? Do you like to work in a coffee shop? Do you like to work in a place where you can see people and talk, or do you want silence? Another thing is working on anxiety techniques. So I know that your first couple exams in university, they can be very, very, very stressful, very anxiety ridden. So if you have some de-escalation methods that you can work on prior to taking your first exams, I really think that helped me, and I hope that it could help you too. I also think it's important to develop skills of being reactive, adaptive, and resilient. Your first couple of years in university, your first couple of months, your first couple of grades might knock you off your high horse a little bit. It is a big change, but don't let yourself take it too hard. I promise you that things will start to change in terms of your grades and how you understand lecture materials and the outcomes of those understandings. First year courses are kind of just intro courses that are very, very broad. So you take Sociology 100, I think it's called, and Sociology 101. You focus a lot on theory and history, but don't let that scare you off, because I promise once you get through first year, your courses start to actually get interesting. So I would say within sociology, you really get to look at everything. You get to look at society, obviously, and the ways that society performs life, basically. So through the interactions of economy, politics, gender, race, psychology, global development, all of those ties, basically every art that you see at Queen's is combined down into one program, and that program is sociology. So like I said previously, in your second year is when you actually select your major plan. So in second year, I went ahead and chose sociology, and with that, you get to choose your courses. So second year is still pretty vast within sociology. There's a lot of options of courses you can take. However, in your third and fourth year, things kind of go through a tunnel and a pinhole into which stream you're following. So I'm more limited by my stream within sociology and choosing courses that way to fit that stream. And then by fourth year, like I said, your seminars are solely based around what you're streaming. I'm pretty sure every applicant needs to have an honor roll average or a minimum average of an 80 to get accepted into any program. I know for my incoming year, 2021, we all had to have a minimum average for sociology or for Queen's Arts of 80. And then in terms of sociology and selecting your major, the application process is pretty easy. Queen's sends out an email in the summertime where you follow the steps they provide and select a program. And then again, for some programs at Queen's, I know that you have to submit a personal essay or a statement of experiences. You have to have interviews. However, for my experience at Queen's at the time, we didn't have any of that. It was solely based off of your high school grades and your application that was written to Queen's. If I could go back and change things or tell my younger self some classes that I think would help prepare me for my university degree program, I think taking a psychology or sociology class in high school would be very helpful, along with economics or politics. If your school offers a gender studies class, I think you should take that. Say if your school has any creative writing classes or professional writing classes, those would be beneficial for following in the sociology degree program, as there is a lot of writing. In terms of extracurriculars, I'd say anything that gets you involved with the school or any specific organization or the community would look good on your application to Queen's. And in terms of course registration for Queen's for sociology, you just kind of follow what the school tells you to when they tell you to. Definitely make a mock-up schedule for first and second semester of the classes that you think that you want to take, and maybe 2 alternative classes that you can use to swap out a class if it's full. As sociology is a very general program, I know that Queen's boasts about having its students go into a multifaceted career path. So sociology doesn't directly lead into one thing, it can lead into a bunch of different career paths. Me personally, I want to go into marketing and branding, which is why I ended up streaming consumer studies. However, within sociology, I know there's a crime and law stream, and there's also a race and family stream. So depending on what you stream, obviously is what you're interested in. But I've known people to go on to work in politics, government, the arts, economics, gender studies, sciences, business. Living on campus in first year in residence was a lot of fun. I lived in Gordon Brockington House in Brock Basement, which was a decent residence, but it was connected to a dining hall, which you can't complain about. There's a lot of food outlets around you, and there's a lot of accessibility for using your Queen's Flex dollars in your meal plan at different places to eat, so you don't have to worry about getting sick of cafeteria food. I would say living in residence, a lot of the pros were based around the community and the friends that you make and the people that you meet. I don't know if I would have been able to get through first year if I hadn't lived on res, if I was just living by myself out of the experience that other first years are having. You can really create a sense of understanding amongst other students in your residence that are going through the same thing. I lived in a triple bedroom in the basement, like I said, which was nice because the room was massive. However, depending on the type of person you are, living in a triple definitely might not be for you. At times it was a little bit challenging living with 3 girls in the same size room as the one I'm in now, and sharing a bathroom with both genders on my floor, which was like 30 students, which sometimes got a little bit crazy. I would say that if you're going to be living in residence, that you should really do the research on what you need for your residence and what style room that you get. Housing beyond campus, like I had talked about before, the student ghetto is just a really, really wide array of students living packed into one area. So I want to say it's about 12 streets that go north and south and east and west that are all mainly just Queen's housing. So students live in these houses rented out by landlords. So you look to your left, your right, and across the street, and it's all students, which was a lot of fun. I think the university experience beyond academics is something that Queen's is really recognized for. One of the main reasons that I chose the school on top of its academics was because of its student lifestyle and the university experience beyond academics. There definitely is a very large party culture at Queen's, but really only if you put yourself in that culture. I know that a lot of people, that's not their thing, so if they didn't want to get involved in that scene, then they just wouldn't, and they would find other things to get involved in. I suggest getting involved in as many clubs as you can. Queen's has a really big, strong presence with clubs, student clubs, and executive teams. So if you can apply to be on the executive team of a club that you're interested in, not only does that look really good on a resume or a portfolio, but it also helps with growing your network on Queen's and allowing you to find a group of people that are interested in something that you're in. It's a very, very big thing at Queen's, and I can't stress enough how changing it was to get involved into being on an exec for a club. I know that Queen's a lot of the time receives a bad rep for its lack of diversity, which I do have to agree with in some extent. I know that they're doing a lot of work to help transform the school and its diversity and inclusion models. Personally, in my program in sociology, we were very diverse in terms of my peers and my classmates, and other programs in the arts, I'd say, were a lot more diverse than other programs at the school. Definitely Queen's in general and Kingston in general could use a facelift when it comes to including more diverse populations within its peer group. However, I do know that there's a very strong international student presence at Queen's. We are recognized for our large connection to different schools across the globe. So there are a lot of international students that you get to meet, which is really cool. So if you're an international student looking to come to Queen's, I would say that it's definitely a good choice, and don't let the bad news from Queen's put you off from attending the school, because I know that there's a lot of groups for specific communities to provide a sense of community and belonging at Queen's. From my experience studying at Queen's, I know that they mentioned that they have a lot of resources and support and accommodation groups for their students. However, I'm not sure if this is truly the case or if it's as legit and helpful as they say it is. I know that in my experiences, reaching out for extra accommodations due to mental health or sickness, it's been challenging at times to receive these extensions or these accommodations through the Arts and Science portal. The best piece of advice I have into receiving academic support or accommodations is to reach out directly to your professor or their teaching team, because they oftentimes are a lot more understanding than the school is. Your professor gets to know you and sees your name and sees your face, so if they can help you out in any way, they're going to be the ones to do that, not the school, who has no clue who you are and what you're going through. I also know that Queen's offers financial assistance. You can apply for bursaries through the student website, also OSAP if you're eligible. You can also get Queen's health insurance as a student, and you should be able to find all the information online. I know that entering your first year of university can be very daunting, so if I could go back and say some words of advice to myself, I think I would just tell myself that let yourself have fun and let yourself be open and explorative to new ideas and new opportunities. First year is really a chance to get your feet in the ground and learn from your mistakes. You still, I think, need to focus on academics, but I would say allow yourself to have a little bit of fun in your first year, because it is your first year, and realistically it will impact your GPA, but it won't totally change your grade forever. I would say just let yourself enjoy the ride and don't think too much and trip too much over the little things. Try to stay organized with your schoolwork, whether it be through a calendar or an agenda, and also try to stay on top of your mental health. Don't be afraid to take days where you just want to lay in bed and do class or school from bed instead of walking to class that day. If your mental health isn't strong, then your grades won't be strong. So sometimes you just need a little self-help day, and don't be afraid to take that. And then in terms of friendships, let yourself explore and just be open, join a bunch of clubs, see new people, meet new people, and just try to have the best time you can. And I wish all of you watching this video the best of luck entering into your first years at university, whether it be Queen's Sociology or anything else. It's going to be the best for your 4 years of your lives, so don't let it pass you by and live it up as much as you can. Thank you.